broken my heart so many times I stopped keeping track. Talk myself in.
Table grapes, they're watering the heck out of them. They spread those rows out, and it creates a much bigger berry, and obviously not concentrated and beautiful like it is for making wine, right?
Right,
I mean, that's
exactly. And that's what we'll find, and I'm hoping we can even taste these berries tonight if you'd like to, because that's where we are right now in the process. These grapes have been growing, ripening, maturing all summer long, and now we're getting very close to harvest time. And what we look for is we've got to get the acid up to the right levels, we've got to get the sugar up to the right levels, and then the flavors are obviously the most important component.
because that's really the end result. I mean, the final decision you make on picking got to be how it tastes, right?
Exactly.
You can measure the sugar, you can measure everything, but
if the flavors aren't there yet, then,
yeah, you're not.
Then they keep hanging until the flavors develop. Or, in some of those very bad years, they keep hanging and hanging, and then the weather turns rainy on you, and you don't get to pick. So, but flavors are coming along very nicely, and
You're quite behind, though. I mean, you're
right.
What, maybe a month? Are you a month behind?
No, we're about 2 to 3 weeks behind. About 3 weeks behind.
Yeah.
We had such a mild summer. I mean, just really a cool summer.
So tell the guests the type of summer that we had, because it was unusually cool all year, and then when it was so cool, you had to do some other work in the vineyard, right, to help with the temperatures that you weren't getting.
Exactly, and not just temperature, but
and I'll pour wine while you tell the folks.
Good idea. Yeah. So it was very mild, but also a moist summer as far as a lot of fog, and so low temperatures, cool, moist air can lead to mold and mildew in the grape clusters. So what a lot of the growers were forced to do, and we did it as well, is you had to pull a lot more leaves to allow a lot more airflow to get through on your when these little clusters were just little green berries. You got to get the wind and the air flowing through there so they don't start giving these other problems. What a lot of the growers wound up doing was pulling the leaves everywhere just to open it up, because
it was really not getting warm. I mean,
right.
we were into July and the beginning of August, and what did we see? We saw very few days over 80, 85 degrees, and normally you'd have some real big spikes in the high 90s, even though it would cool down early in your area. But for the most part, you'd get that additional heat. You weren't getting it. And everybody did kind of the same thing. And so this is the result, right?
Exactly.
So take a look at that, Andrew. Look at that. There's your raisin bran for your cereal this morning. so they just
got sunburned.
And it didn't take long, did it?
Well, no, because we had this dramatic heat spike.
Right.
That was unexpected, and that followed all this very mild weather. So the grape skins were still very tender. They thought they were in, real mild springtime conditions. And then boom, the heat spiked up to 100 degrees over the course of a couple of days. And the skins, number one, were tender, and number two, were not being protected by the leaves.
Right.
And so a lot of grapes got sunburned, and then once they've been sunburned, you see the result.
And so then is